Welcome back to the Titanium Hangar. Happy Friday, everybody. I hope everyone is doing well going into the holiday weekend. Today I want to talk to you about why collect Masterpiece Transformers right now. Why now? Why not later? Why put it off? Why collect right now? I've got several reasons to talk about. Oddly enough, this video could be made today, and it could be made 2 years from now. It'll all be about the same, but we're going to discuss why collecting right now, specifically, coming up. The first reason that collecting right now is so important so that you can get figures for the retail price. You start looking back and trying to get some figures that came out a few years ago that haven't been reissued recently. They may have been reissued a year and a half, 2 years ago, but they're not on the dockets right now. Trying to pick it up right now might be expensive. So the stuff coming out right now might be expensive down the road and hard to get. Keeping up with it at retail and retail price, not paying the late tax, that's one of the first reasons. I can think of a lot of examples that seem like they're pretty recent, like this Jabber seems to become an expensive figure. Also, going way back, Make Toys Contact Shot, which oddly enough, there's no reissue of that anywhere being talked about. So yes, keeping up with what's going on right now so you can get it for a retail price and you're not paying a late tax and you're not going to the secondary market. The next reason to collect right now, or to continue collecting, would be to catch stuff on clearance. So I've got to say, right now, these Seekers, the Deformation Space, are on clearance for like 84, 86 bucks, something along those lines. I know I picked them up when they were about 115, 117, something like that. And so I'm a little bit jealous of people that can get it right now for $84, but then unforeseen things happen and things go on sale. Things get clearance. And I'm actually shocked that these haven't sold out. They're very good in the bot mode. They have a couple of issues, but for the most part, they're fantastic figures and the best representation, in my opinion. So when KOs like the MP44 KOs, or now this one here of the Ironhide, when they go on clearance, you get them super cheap. This is like 36 bucks right now. So if you're in on this, or you might want to hold out if you're collecting right now, you're in the present. Why collect right now? There might be a better one of these coming. That's why. I'm hoping a better one of these coming. But you could get a clearance deal for these KOs. Or you could just be in on the KOs. The other thing about the KO market is I really don't understand their production. It seems like they produce a whole crud ton of them at one time, and then they very seldom come back with a second run. Sometimes they do, sometimes they don't. I was shocked to see this thing come back out, because I haven't seen a KO of this for years. So the next reason to collect right now and to keep up with collecting, especially with Masterpiece, these expensive figures, is catching a reissue. So with this, I was actually shocked when they reissued the Insecticons. I was very surprised about that, but actually quite pleased because there was one or two of my needed to pick up to kind of fill out my collection. But yeah, you could miss out on stuff like this if you aren't collecting right now. You would miss out on those kinds of things. And yes, it's good to take a break sometimes, especially if you need the finances. But getting back into it, these things might be real expensive again once they sell out of retail, and the only option is a secondary market. So the next one I want to talk about is companies could end, or things can change. Situations can change within companies. So I'm bringing back out this Contact Shop picture because Make Toys is teetering on what they're doing going forward, but they may never put this one back out. They said they were going to end, but they are somehow still putting out some of those Seekers. They still haven't got to the Coneheads, but better example is Deformation Space. Who knows if they're ever going to make these again? They're on clearance. I know I've already kind of beat that dead horse, but with that, things come and things go, and sometimes they don't get reissued. Sometimes they don't get made again, and sometimes nobody is going to do another production run of this, such as the range of Impossible Toys stuff. Impossible Toys is no longer around, and they had the best Quintesson setup, and they still have some of the best figures. There's nothing that really matches these that's been released. Now, X-Transbots, of course, is going to be doing all of these probably over the course of the next several years, but who knows how long it's going to take for them to flesh out every single one of these to build the scene that you could have built with Impossible Toys. And for a while there, these things were selling for 20 bucks each on clearance at several places. If you were in the game then, you got a heck of a deal, and these still command a hefty price on the secondary market. So the other thing is that they do not service old figures sometimes, like Fans Toys and their service. They service the figures that they've recently put out. They still have parts at the factory and those kinds of things. Well, they stopped the FT09. They stopped. I believe they don't do spotter anymore. They don't have parts for that. They don't have parts for some of their figures and many of their figures that are older. And so with that, if you were in the game back in the day and you broke your Tesla, you got a replacement. If you're in the game now and you're buying a secondary Tesla and you break it, you're just out of luck. I hear there's a problem with Jive. I don't have mine yet, so it's all second-hand information, so I don't really want to spread any lies about it or anything, but I hear there's like a pin that is a screw or a pin or something that is coming out. It's backing out, and so what we're hearing is to glue it back or something like that. So with that, there are fixes that Fans Toys usually comes up with and puts out, and hopefully they have a better fix to this than what I'm hearing. But we know that with the Sheridan figure, with their Warpath, that there was a modified screw they sent out that literally fixed whatever problem there was. I didn't have the problem. Mine was fine, but other people had a problem, and it was a lot of them that had the problem. They engineered a fix, a screw. If you were to try to get your own screw and put it in there, you could have caused more damage to it, which is very important to get the correct size screw or part or replacement piece. You might not be able to get it forever. Right now we're seeing Takara come out with what I've got to say is the best priced product that they've come out with in a while. They were astronomical for a while. Now they are sort of reasonable, and obviously the KOs are going to be extremely reasonable based off Takara. So right now prices are stabilizing. They are coming down. Things are getting a little bit better. Availability is pretty good on product right now. We don't know what it's going to be like in the future. And see, when right now it's plenty of product, it might be looked at as we're producing too much, and maybe we should cut back on production so that product doesn't sit on shelves for so long. Well, I don't think Takara will, but I think Fans Toys might. The other reason is the future of this hobby. If you want to get a complete collection, then you might want to stay on it right now. The problem is that with a shrinking collector base, it does not seem to be growing anymore. We seem to see an overall collectible base shrinking for a lot of reasons, whether it's economy or aging out of it or just getting tired of it or other responsibilities, that it is shrinking. The community is shrinking. And so with that, the response usually is produce less and less product come available in the future. We will have to, of course, see over the next 3 to 5 years what happens with the industry, but it seems like we'll see a course correction. I did see this in 2014. It was an explosion like we've got right now, and then it contracted heavily for a little while after that, and then another explosion that we saw. So we'll see what happens in the next 3 to 5 years. Next reason to collect right now is because of the options. There are so many options that are out there, and I'm not going to lie about this. This is a fact. A lot of times, companies are competing with each other. They are putting out competing products at around the same time, like we're seeing right now with Trailbreaker, Outrider, and then of course their Trailbreaker. We saw this earlier with 2 different versions of Perceptor, and we're going to see this continually. But you have the options to choose for retail price right now. And yes, maybe you jump on it right now and you see a clearance down the road, but it's still better than paying the secondary market value later on. But you can take the time right now to pick the one you like the most, because it doesn't seem like any of these are selling out too fast. That might not be the same in a few years. The next reason is this is exciting time. Exciting time to be part of the community, part of collecting Masterpiece Transformers. There are things that have never been done before, never even been attempted before, that we're going to see happen in 2023. I believe Like Toys will deliver on this in 2023. At least they'll do their first production run of it, which will be fantastic and exciting. They've already got the prototype in the US, and I'm not sure who's going to be the first one to get to review it on their channel, but that'd be pretty exciting to just get to watch that. So with that, there's so many things going on right now that are exciting, that are new, and if you're not collecting right now, you're probably not paying attention to it. If you're not paying attention to it, you're missing out. The next reason to be in it right now, because if you've already been collecting, then you want to finish up your sets. And we're starting to see that this stuff is going to happen. And one of the things that we see is that we don't know exactly how these combiners are going to combine with Fans Toys. And a lot of collectors want to finish this up. And this is something that should happen pretty soon. hopefully pretty soon. At least we can get the Superion done, which is my favorite, so I'm kind of happy. I'm not really in a hurry for Menasor, but with this, it's still exciting times right here. Finishing up your sets, finishing up the combiners, and then we're going into another era where X-Transbots is doing a Devastator, and well, they need to finish up their Defensor first. Now, one thing about the combiners is that it seems like the bigger scale combiners with X-Transbots, we haven't seen a box set come with their Menasor. So to complete an X-Transbot, you really need to buy each limb separately and build it as they go, more or less. Or you might get down the road maybe the youth version that would sort of blend in okay. But we haven't seen, well, obviously we haven't seen Fanstoys do a box set. So we have seen Zeta do box sets because that's just kind of the thing that they've done. But as for if you're in on all these other ones, you're probably not going to be able to get a box set down the road. You're going to be piecing it together. And I doubt they're going to do a production run of all of them all at the exact same time. Which is why you got to stay in the game. Which leads to ultimately the number one reason to stay in the game and collect right now is the experience. It's one thing to experience new releases as they come out, whether you pass on it, whether you buy it, whether you buy it, you sell your old one, or whatever you do, you just are part of the experience. And it's so much different to be part of the experience while it's going on than looking back 5 years ago and how was 5 years ago. So I find that it is fun and exciting. The buzz behind every release, it's always there, whether it's positive or negative. Also, the excitement about the future and the possibilities and what we have, where we've come, and where we're going. And with that, new announcements come out almost every week. We get new Masterpiece announcements that are exciting, whether it be for a new figure or updates on old projects. Lots of fun discussions in the future about which one is better, X-Transbots or Fanstoys, and how many will X-Transbots win. According to my count, X-Transbots won 2 or 3 already. How many special variants that you might be the only person that wants it, but it's there for you and you get it for retail. Well, this thing's only $50. I mean, for a clear Mirage, $50. But there are exciting things coming up in the collecting community, especially for Masterpiece Transformers and those who have built a massive collection of Masterpiece, but it's still not complete, have a few more select pieces they're looking forward to, if not a bunch more select pieces that they're looking forward to. Also with Legends and Mainline, I mean, it all still applies. So let me know what you think about this topic. Collecting right now, is this a good time to collect? Is this the best time to collect? And can we say the same thing 2 years from now? Let me know what you think about this, and are you still in on the game, or have you jumped ship and you just still like to see what's going on once in a while? That's interesting also. Let me know in the comments below, like and subscribe. Titanium Hanger out.